Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Legions Imperialis, the support stuff. So this is all the Titanica stuff and strategic assets that you have available to you when you build an army. So now, remember, this stuff can only represent 30% of your overall game size. So no matter what game size you're playing, 1,000 points would be 300 points. At 1,500 would be 450, and you can take a grand total of 600 points of it in a 2,000 point full-size game. That means that you're not going to have the capability to run a ton of these models, and to include somebody like this big bro right here, the Warmonger, you're gonna need to be playing at least a 3,000 point game, as they get pricey fast. Now, two of these assets are included in the boxes, the two Warhound Titans, and they're a bit awkwardly pointed at 330 points each. If they were 300, they could go into a 1,000 point game, but as it stands, you need at least 1,050 points of whatever your parent attachment is before you can include one of these models. So let's talk about these guys. Well, for the most part, they're war engines, and what that means is they move slightly differently from other armies. Units, they don't have a sort of like 360 movement option. They can make one turn 90 degrees during the course of their movement. That makes them a little bit more lumbering. If you take a detachment, like a knight household, you can have at least one knight in it. If you take a Legio support, then you have to have at least one titan in it. And these are the two formations that are available to you. That's really it as far as the rules for including them. You just kind of simply have to remember that only 30% of your points can be spent on them. Now, is it worth it to take them? Well, let me tell you, even a single knight is 180 points. And to put that in context, you're gonna get the 5 predators for the cost of that single knight with a single model. They have a movement of 8, a 3+ armor save, plus 8 to their close assault factor, and a 2+ morale. When we get even bigger than knights into things like titans, their morale becomes a dash, and they just don't make morale tests anymore. They just don't care. They're also always multi-wound models. Even a single Questoris knight has 3 wounds, meaning a full lance of 4 of them is going to be floating at 12 wounds total, which is massive. And if you were to take them all as an upgrade, for a lance of 3, you'd be at a grand total of, if you increase detachment size by 2, it's plus 340 points, and that's a 520 point unit. Probably one of the most expensive units in your army, just to take 3 of these guys. So the core stats, of course, are very powerful. You have a bunch of different options for their armaments, but they have to follow one of the patterns. So like a Knight Errant can be a thermal cannon, heavy stubber, and Reaper Chainsword. A Paladin's got the rapid fire battle cannon and Reaper Chainsword. You can swap it for, I think the fists as well. But for the most part, you're going to have nothing but these loadouts when you take those miniatures. For 15 extra points, you can have a weapon loadout for a Knight Styrex or a Knight Megara, so you can take the Mechanicum Knights as well. And they just replace a Knight in the banner. They're not added in. You can, if you want, have Knight Armiger Talons added to them, or Mechanicum Knight Moirax Talons. And what's nice about those is they have the independent special rule. And that means that when you take an attachment upgrade like them, they get to be within, basically they get to go off outside of 6 and operate as their own little unit. So you get a bit more activation control, although they activate at the same time as the parent unit. You can give them different orders and have them do different things. And that's cool. The Moiraxes and the Questoris and Armigers being sort of like a add-on. I couldn't find the Armigers at first glance in here though. Let's have a look and find out where they're there. Then the detachment upgrades later on in the back half of the section. So you get a single Armiger, and it's basically like a baby knight. It's got 2 wounds instead of 3. Same mostly core save, except its close assault factor is only 6. It's got ion shields and nimble. And sorry, they're not independent. Only the Moirax ones are, and the Knight Megara is. And these can just be added to the army. So yeah, for 15 points, they can become independent instead. Oh, they're all independent. That's right. They're all independent units. They all stay outside of 6, and all of the knights in the detachment can have independent orders if they want. Then we get Cerastus Knights for 250 points. Like you can see, these guys are very expensive just for a single model. A Castus Knights at 250 points. And then we get to Warhound Titans. And like I said, 330 points base for a single Warhound Titan. You don't pay points for any upgrades except for adding more models. And if you want to have a full 3 Warhound pack, you're looking at 970 points, meaning you can play a 4,000 point game to be able to fit those guys in. The Direwolf comes in at a hefty 385 points, but at this point, you're looking at 2+ saves, 4 wounds on the Warhounds and the Direwolves, 2+ armor saves, plus 10 to their close assault factor. And we've got Void Shields now too. What's cool about the Direwolf is it's got Infiltrate, which means it can actually deploy up table, which is cool considering it's got things like the Ardex Mega Bolters, which are point defense. They can shoot different targets, and still has giant Titan killer weapons on top of it. A Reaver Battle Titan goes to 415 with its plus 12 close assault factor and 5 wounds at scale 5. And it has like a commensurate kill level, like its guns are just horrifying. You don't survive usually if you get hit by them. And a lot of them throw a whole bunch of dice, 4 Void Shields on them. Now Void Shields operate just like you would imagine they would. They take a hit with no saves rolled. If you have a hit assigned to you that has at least -1 AP, a Void Shield goes down. Any hits without AP, if you have active Void Shields, you just discount them one after the other until they're gone, until you hit something that has an AP on it. So it's important that when you're firing at a Titan, you do things that will drop its shields, and then maybe you can get to make some 2+ armor saves. The Warbringer Nemesis Titan is at 525 points with 6 Void Shields. And then when you get into like the Warlord, it's 600 points. So at 600 points, again, you need to be playing at 30% of that. You need to be playing at least a 2,000 point game. And that's all you're getting for your support options. The Warlord Sinestro Battle Titan, 675. And then when you get to the Warmaster and Warmongers, 750 points for these guys. Biggest ones in the game, close assault factor of 18. 2d6 plus 18 every time they fight. Although, I mean, 66 plus 1 could eventually beat that on the 6th attack roll and do a wound. And that's it. Those are really your options right now. These are the only support stuff that's in here. It does do the whole gamut of like the Mechanicum stuff and of course all of the Legio stuff. So probably in the future you'll see an expansion on this. And we were debating back and forth after our first couple games, like could you just play a game with the Titans in these rules? I would love to see some detachments for just playing like quick play Titanicus with this, because I think that this works just fine. It's kind of, it's like I'd compare it to like Battletech Alpha Strike compared to Battletech. If you want to put all your Titans on the table and play a game, just reverse it. Have 70% of your points need to be played with Titans, and then 30% with support stuff as anything else, and play a game and see how it goes. I think it'd be fun. I'm probably going to try that considering how many Titans I have. It's just like a kind of quicker version of playing Titanicus. And that's it out of the core book. So support assets, we've got a look now today at everything so far that's available. And I do feel like it's funny, including the Warhounds in the box, it's actually, giving them Knights probably would have made more sense, because from a granularity point of view, you could have used the Knights quicker and played like a legal game probably with what's in the box, as opposed to having the 2 Warhound Titans. But it's cool that you got the Warhound Titans in there. They're neat, they're cool models, and they are big, cool centerpieces for the table as well. I think buildings, honestly, would have been a better choice for what to include overall. A box of Knights and buildings would have probably given a more complete game experience. But there it is, a look at the beginning sort of like offerings in the rulebook, what you have options to take. I think it's interesting, it's curated to basically be everything that was already available in this scale, plus the box set stuff, plus a couple extra boxes. And they're obviously holding stuff back for future waves and future campaign books, which I think is going to be great. I'm excited to add tiny Land Raiders. And honestly, it means I don't feel super overwhelmed by my options, because if it's Titanicus and Aeronautica stuff, I already have it painted. And it means I'm just adding the fairly like limited palette of new things to my collection and building lots of terrain. So big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more GMG reviews. You can check out the how to play right now. Titanica Mash. Hi, Borgamy.
Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed that video, and thank you for watching. If you want to find out more about me and see what I'm up to, you can check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/outofthebasementintothestreets, or Instagram at Guerrilla Miniature Games. You can also find me on Patreon at patreon.com/Guerrilla Miniature Games, and of course, you can now follow on Patreon if you don't want to back and see what's new. Thanks for watching.